Hello, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Congratulations, You're In. Throughout each episode, together we will explore many steps that you as Montgomery County High School students may encounter both before and during your college application process. Together, we want to guide you towards hearing those fantastic words, Congratulations, You're In. I'm Tony Spearman-Leach, your host, and joining us today is Ed Reed, the CEO of the Academic Management Group, LLC, and counselor for the Montgomery County Public Schools. I want to welcome you, Ed. We have a lot to conquer with these students here in Montgomery County, so let's just dive right in. You are an expert in counseling and academic advising. You do this both as a private counselor and as a counselor for Montgomery County Public Schools. But I'm going to ask you what every kid wants to know. How do I find a college that is actually a good fit for me?
Tony, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be with you. And that is the question. The question is, how do I find a college that's a good fit for me? Not a good fit for my parents, not a good fit for my friends,
Absolutely.
not a good fit for my ego. And so when we're looking at what college is the right fit for you, first we got to take some time and look at who you are. We got to really tap into who you are, what you're really interested in, what is it that you're passionate about? Where do you thrive the most? What setting? Do you thrive when you're in a class and there's 100 students? Or do you thrive in a class where there's 20 to 30 students? Do you thrive having a relationship with the teacher?
Absolutely.
Or would you thrive when there's a TA teaching the class? And so first of all, we got to even talk about the setting, the atmosphere. Then we got to begin to really look at, does this school have the programs that you're interested in? And more importantly, what I like to look at when I'm working with young people, I want to look at what's the pipeline? Where is it taking you to? This university or this college that you go to, what's after the college?
Okay. This is amazing because you've gotten to some points that I think that students don't think about. Just being realistic about it. I think I want to party because my friends say they had a great time in college. I didn't know I had to think about the size of the classroom. I didn't know I had to think about whether it was in a city or in a suburb or in the countryside. I just know the names. And so I think you brought up some very key points that for students, for the first time in their lives, it's all about them. And they need to be honest with their counselor about who they are and what they want. And so I'm glad you brought up those questions because students get very, very concerned and they get very confused. You know, we both know that there are thousands of schools here in the United States, university level schools, so they don't know what to do. And I want to ask you, when you start taking students and working with them, what information do you connect them with to get them going on that exploration of answering these questions?
All right, and so the first information I'm going to connect the student with is tell me just a little bit about you.
Okay.
All right, one of the things I want to know is where do you think you want to go to school? and Tony, it's fantastic because then I asked him, well, tell me what you know about that school. Matter of fact, I was with a kid not too long ago and I said, what do you think about University of Maryland College Park? Kid looks at me and she says, it's okay. I said, well, what were you thinking? She says, well, I was thinking Yale. I said, okay, let's work with Yale. Tell me, what do you know about Yale? It's a really good school. I said, have you been on their website? No.
Absolutely.
I said, so I guess you got the answer to my next question. Have you looked over the admissions criteria?
No.
And so we take a journey. First, we got to really re-examine the information that you're sharing. And your information that you're sharing, we got to say, what's the source? Who told you this school? And
of course, it's always my friends.
My friends.
My neighbor down the street, the senior that graduated last year that was my best friend. This is where we get our information from. So, of course, this is where all of these resources come from. But what do I do now? I mean, I start answering these questions. Where are you going to direct me?
Right, and so one of the things what we're going to do, we're going to get a little profile on you first. We're going to look at what is it that you think you want to study. You might be liberal arts, you might be business, you might be computer engineering. So one of the things we want to do is tap into your interests.
Hold on that thought, because you hit the key point, your interests. We need to take a break. Ed, I want to thank you for these tips. They're so helpful. Your guidance. You remind us why Montgomery County is a wonderful place to learn. Right now, we're going to take a brief break. Remember about your interests, and then we'll be back with more information to help you on. Congratulations, you're in.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do. Yeah, but I don't know where to start.
That's why we're here. We're free, handsome,
I think we're breathtaking.
and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. I got this. Is that brand? Colleges love extracurricular activities.
Chess really isn't my thing.
I got this. Doesn't matter. Go ahead. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Fire and ice.
Those don't really go together.
Go to GetSchooled.com for more info.
Hello, and welcome back to our latest episode of Congratulations, You're In. Ed Reed, the CEO of the Academic Management Group, LLC, and a counselor for the Montgomery County Public Schools, is guiding us with career pathway insight and academic insight that can make today's professional dreams tomorrow's realities. And so you were getting back to something very, very important. You were talking about insight and understanding oneself on this adventure of applying to college. So let's pick up where we left off.
All right, and so we left off on interests. And so when we're looking at, when I'm working with a student, I really want to help them explore their interests.
Okay.
And so I'll give you an example. Not too long ago, a parent and young man came in. Parent was really concerned because she said, you know, my kid just seems like he's kind of doesn't know what he wants to do. And she says, I'm thinking about taking him to go take this test. She says, but it's like a couple of $1,000s. I said, well, save your money. That's why you got me. You don't have to spend several thousands of dollars
Absolutely.
to try to find your kid's interest. I said, let me talk to him for a minute. And we sat down. And I began to ask him, do you like engineering? No. Do you like science? No. Do you like... I said, let's skip the question. What do you just do? I mean, what do you just do for fun? He said, I draw.
Ah.
And so I have this thing, this Microsoft Surface. I said, well, like, can you draw? Draw me something. So I gave him the pen, I gave him the little laptop, the Surface. I bought it because the kids can interact with it. And so he drew a little picture. He said, you ever heard of a game called The Squiggly Line? I said, no, I never heard of a game called Squiggly Line. He says, all right, well, we play it. Someone draws a squiggle, then the other person has to draw a picture around that.
Ah.
So I made a squiggle, and this kid went to work. And as I saw him dive in, I said, can I show you something? And so I got on my other computer, and I put in graphic artists. Then I put in schools for graphic animation. This kid's eyes lit up, and he began to see a whole nother world that he never knew existed. And so sometimes the way to find a kid, help them find their interests, don't be so stuffy, and just talk to them.
I love the way you did this because you took what the kid had as a personal inner joy, what they really found as a personal passion that was close to the chest, and you brought it to the forefront and said, this is what you can do, and there are people out there who can help you do this. I think that's so important because so many students don't know that that's an option to pursue. And everyone tells us we have to do medicine, we have to do business, we have to do law, but we're in a rapidly expanding world, and you were helping open up opportunities. But let me ask you, when you help that student discover their interests, their passion, what's the next step? Where do we go now?
Fantastic question. And so the way we link this up, we begin to, my job is to unpack the gifts that's already inside of the student.
I love that.
And I just help them unwrap it.
Okay.
Because every kid has a gift within them. Because every kid is special. So that next step, and this is a strategic approach, we probe the interest, let's see what's out there. So together, either we'll do it together or I'll push the little tablet thing and say, well, let's do a Google search. Now, let's find out. Here's the question. There's always the right question. What do you have to do fill in the blank, whatever your interest? But you said two things, Tony, that really resonated with me. Passion.
Absolutely.
Right? Opportunities, options. You said passion and options. When we help a child discover their passions, the next step is to help them maximize their potential. Because when it's something that they're passionate about, they'll stay up all day, all night, and work, and their curiosity. And so now the next step, let's find out your options. So let's say you're in whatever grade you're in, we know that you got to apply somewhere. You're in 11th grade, you know you got to apply. And so where are the opportunities? And then we go back and we begin to scale down and we begin to say, okay, what are the requirements at the different universities or the different agencies what will give you the preparation?
So what you are getting to is once we have identified that interest, that inner passion, we now have to go do the search for the proper university that can actually help us explore that towards our end goal. And this is so important for all of our students to know. You've hit on a key note I think we're all afraid to ask. We're going to have to sit here and wrap this up for a moment and pick this up in our next episode. But I want to thank you as an outstanding guest. You have really well represented the academic management group. Ed, no wonder you're the CEO there. You're phenomenal. Together, Ed and I hope that we have gotten you a few steps closer to reading and hearing those fantastic words. Congratulations, you're in. Join us during our upcoming episodes where together we will explore that dreaded FAFSA and the CSS profile, submitting your families and your own IRS tax forms or non-filer statements, scholarships, grants, loans, and so very much more. But until next time, keep working towards your dreams until you hear those words. Congratulations, you're in.